The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going just in the future down the road. So you're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, their opportunities, marketing and advertising. We're going to broadcast from the Zoey Advertising Studios, and we're sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and you can also see us on YouTube. So
Tom, I need your help.
I
need your help.
Oh, you need everybody's help.
I know, but I need your help. So here's what's going on.
Okay.
You have lost some weight, been working out. You're not perfect, but you're a long way from where you were. Is that fair?
Yeah, sure.
I really crave carbs.
You crave carbs, yeah. In what form?
So there's two downfalls. At night, Judy buys fruit. It's in the fridge, and I always want to put whipped cream on it, and like at 9 at night. I mean, is there anything worse that I get? That's one, and the other one is when I get my cup of coffee in the morning.
Yes.
Geez, I really would like a donut. But most of the time, I say no. How do you? And a serious question. You've come a long way, in a great way, and you eat mostly carnivorous. How do you do it? Because I'm struggling, and I gained some more weight. And then, how do you do it?
Well, it sounds to me like you're more on the sugar than you are carbs. You see, everything you just mentioned has a bit large sugar component to it. So the sweetness in the fruit and the sweetness in the donut and all that. So,
or when I used to have a bowl of cereal, which was sweet, same idea.
Well, I think I told you before that Wegmans has the grass-fed, grass-finished beef jerky. So that's good and healthy. It doesn't have nitrates in it or anything.
Does it taste good?
Well, to me it does, yeah.
Okay,
and you can get different flavors.
Because some beef jerky's like, I like.
And then the other thing to do would be, Kelly and I, we make the deviled eggs. So you can have the eggs because you got your...
Judy made those last week.
Right. So you keep the deviled eggs in the fridge for a snack.
She has a tray, like the special tray that they're all halves, and they were great.
You can do that. Then what I also do is I'll take like a Delmonico steak and I'll trim it all up. I'll cut it all up, I should say, after I cook it, right? And I'll eat my 2 eggs and my steak.
Yeah.
And then I'll have another steak in reserve, cut into strips. So that at night, if I'm designing or I'm down in the studio, then I'll eat my strips of
ask
that.
me next week. Serious question, because that's I've totally discovered my downfall. It's right there.
Yeah.
I can incrementally fast in the morning. I'm fine unless I'm craving something.
Yeah.
And it is sugar.
And if you have to wean yourself off, I guess you could use. I'm not a big fan of the keto treats and everything because they can be just as bad sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you can find a good clean keto treat that we just have like 1 or 2 things to satisfy yourself,
I'd be fine. Those treats don't appeal to me. People like gluten-free. It tastes just as good. No, it doesn't. It's awful.
Bottom line is everybody's got to get off sugar. That's the problem.
Serious question, serious answer. Ask me next week because you just gave me an answer.
So for the rest of the show, we have a lot of information coming your way. Not from me, but from the guests. Dr. Nicole Anzalone stops up first, and then we have Joe Scripa, the owner of Scripa Realty Group and real estate and all that. Dr. Nicole, for those of you keeping up with things, she owns Syracuse Hearing Solutions. And then Kenny Robarge is the owner of CNY Golf Shop and Range. Billy Brill is the account manager at the Red Cross, and he'll tell us about the Red Cross and the upcoming, it's going to be holiday season pretty soon.
There you go.
And then we have Carol Terry, who's the sales manager over at Mattress Makers, and will spare us from talking with Charlie. And then Paul Falco is the treasurer and past president of the Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society, otherwise known as STARS. John Tomino stops by, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. Amanda Delaney. Delaney? Yes, I'm a little Delaney
today. Could it be
today.
Delaney, Tom?
Yes, Amanda Delaney is the production manager of Delaney Farms, and they're part of Onondaga Grown, of course, and we'll talk with her. So, Dr. Nicole Anzalone, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Tom?
Hanging right in there. The allergies are pretty pumped up at this time. I don't know why. Just kind of like You know, you
the
see
world
things
hates you,
blossom. when I'm out, watering the flowers and things like that, you see different things happen in nature. Like there's ground bees now. I got stung like 3-4 times the other day.
Yeah, that happened to my daughter.
Did it? Yeah. Right around my ankles. I didn't even see it coming. I'm like swatting them away, and they're stinging me, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm getting stung.
Those bees that I released worked out okay.
Yeah. Good golly, and it still itches. So
why are you asking her about that? She's about hearing time. There's a bridge here somewhere.
I wasn't asking her. I was telling her.
Waiting for the punchline.
And I got bit on the ankle, and I couldn't hear. There we go.
As I see the things change is when I'm saying, people have like deeper allergies and stuff like that. So my ears have been popping more and, filling and all that kind of stuff. And even our guy here, the other Steve, we call him, Steve L., he was having a lot of allergy problems this time of year as well. And it affects your ears and it affects your balance and all that.
It can. Yeah. It actually can. I've been seeing a lot of kiddos, especially certain times a year, like you're saying, allergy season typically, where they might have more ear infections. Mm-hmm. So I've been seeing a lot of kids lately due to that.
With ear infections, yeah.
Yeah, that are having hearing difficulties and not passing their hearing screenings at their pediatrician's office, and parents want to get them in before school starts, of course.
Yeah. So is this I got water in my ear syndrome summer swimming? Is that that time of year where that happens?
That could happen too, but it's mostly due to middle ear, it seems. They're getting what's called otitis media, is middle ear infections. Mm-hmm. And it's due to mostly when you have some inflammation around your sinus cavities and your throat. Your eustachian tube that connects your middle ear to your throat starts closing off, and it doesn't open to equalize pressure in your eardrum.
Sure.
So because of that, it starts to pressurize more and more, and then fluid starts to pool in the middle ear, and it could get infected.
That's terrible. Yeah, ear infections were big when I was a kid. I don't know about you, Steve, but when we used to swim in the lake and just to be in the pool all the time, you'd always have
those algae blooms were just we used to play bingo in them with X's and O's. We used to swim in those. Those didn't bother us.
When we didn't know what an algae bloom was, you just swam past it and
we're like, hey, isn't this fun?
Yeah, right.
So why don't people get their hearing tested?
A lot of people have this stigma, they feel like there's something wrong with them if they have a hearing problem. A lot of people are in denial about it and just don't want to seek help. And sometimes they don't realize they have a problem. It's usually the family that notices first, and it's hard for the family to say, hey, every time I say something, you're missing what I'm saying. And you just have to have that heart-to-heart conversation with them, just to say you're missing a lot, and we don't want you to miss out on anything important in life.
But nowadays, you don't have to strap a headset to your head if you need hearing assistance. Mm-hmm. They go down in the ear. They work on your smartphone. It's pretty amazing stuff, right?
It's like an iPod, iPad. It's like, it's a whole stereo system in your ear in this little tiny little gadget. And you could do a lot with it now. You could listen to music from your phone. You could have phone call conversations through your hearing aid. And it's so tiny, you don't see it. No one really cares. I mean, people notice more that you're not hearing them, and they're more frustrated by that than you wearing a hearing aid and having a good conversation. So I think that hearing loss is definitely more noticeable than hearing aids these days.
I have a friend, and I just wish I could say, get some help. But I don't want to be like, you can't hear. I don't want it to be shaming, but I know he's missing it.
So how can people get a hold of you, and how many offices do you have now?
I have 2 offices, one on the east side of town and the west side of town in Camillus and Fayetteville. And you could call our office. We'll get you in for an appointment if you want to get your hearing tested, or if you're having balance problems, ringing in the ears, or just anything going on with your ears, we could help you.
So SyracuseHearingSolutions.com. Mm-hmm. And if they want to make the call, 468-2985, 468-2985, SyracuseHearingSolutions.com. Nicole, and you know what? I know she cares, Tom. She really does.
Yeah. Have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Joe Scripa. He's the owner of the Scripa Group, Real Estate and Property Management, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again on The Local Show. Thank you for joining Tom and Steve. If you got bad allergies, join the crowd. Everybody at this time of year, things take a different, it's like allergies are the same, but they're different at different times of the year. You get different symptoms.
When I was a kid, they were awful.
Yeah.
I would I'd rub my eyes, they'd be all red.
Did you grow out of it a little bit?
It seems like I grew out of it. Now, my sister hadn't changed at all. I think maybe I gave her what was left of mine. But, I'll sneeze here and there, but it's not, you get totally full.
Well,
there's so many people that just get affected by it. The only thing that I'm still highly allergic to are cats.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if someone's got a cat, I'm like,
forget it. I'm the same way.
It's like it climbed inside my lungs and is taking all the oxygen.
Right. Yeah.
It's what it feels like, and it's like the inside of your lungs itch, and I get wide-eyed, and I'm thinking, I can't breathe.
It's too bad because cats are so cute too.
Cats?
Well, look, yeah, cats. Well. Look, if you didn't have allergies, you got other stuff you could deal with too, like monkeypox. The M-pox are happening. The algae blooms.
Yes.
And by the way, did I tell you that the half and half over at Wegmans?
I did hear that. I did hear that last week. I heard that, and no.
And there's the new strain of COVID, of course.
Well, it's only spread by monkeys, though.
And you can't say monkeypox anymore because you'll offend the monkey. So you have to say M-pox. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That's fun stuff. All right. Speaking of fun, Joe Scripa is here, owner of the Scripa Group, real estate and property management. How are you there, Joe?
Great, Tom. How are you?
You do your whole company good. You run this whole company by yourself, or do you have people?
Oh my goodness, we got people. As a matter of fact, on my way here, I was just talking to Nikki Bronner. She's been an agent and she's been in the business for about 10 years.
Okay.
Katie in my office and Alec, and we've got a good team, and we've got a great support staff. Nikki, though, she's on fire right now.
Is she?
We actually, believe it or not, I've been talking about how hot the market's been. In the past couple of weeks, what we're starting to see is those houses that I've talked about that had 20, 30, sometimes 40 offers, we're down to 10, 15, 5, 3 offers.
But it's still crazy. It used to be, hey, I got an offer on my house.
Yep. No.
Well, they have 400 contingencies, and there's got to be 7 house inspections, and
So you also we just talked about Nikki, an experienced agent who's been doing this, and Nikki is her background. She's a black belt in karate. She's a karate instructor. Right. She's very disciplined. She follows systems. We have systems in the office. We've got the support and backup for her to be able to be very productive.
Yeah.
She's got a great teammate, Amber Perkins, who helps assist, shows, closes deals.
What do you do when you get 10 offers on a house, though?
What do you do when you get 10 offers on a house? When you're Nikki Bronner and Amber and the rest of the team, you use your knowledge and experience in different techniques that we've learned over so many years of being in the market and negotiating. There's just different strategies.
But every one of those 10 people have, in their head, moved into the house and picked out curtains in their head.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So there's a lot of disappointment. It seems like there'd be some anger. It seems like there's a lot of drama.
Sometimes, so we, or a good agent like Nikki and Amber and, somebody like me with experience like that, we stopped selling the house and now we're selling the deal, and we're figuring out how to negotiate the deal and get our client what they want in the time they want. So there's techniques and strategies that we've learned over the years that help us close those deals competitively.
So I was talking to a friend
and win those deals
in the last few weeks, and they're in the real estate business, and they were saying it all changed. There's a new law. You got to do this. I don't know. I'll blame Hochul because I just blame her for everything.
You want to know something?
What is that all about?
Shiny spot. That's what that's about. It's a shiny spot.
Oh, yeah.
So
we deal with this, and I'm primarily commercial real estate.
Correct.
It's the exact same situation in commercial real estate. It's it's about fees and who's allowed to charge what, who's allowed to share what with whom. In my world of commercial real estate, none of that is in a system anywhere. We're talking to the other agent. Is there a co-broke fee? And if there's not, I'm going to negotiate a fee. And honestly, if there's no co-broke fee on the other side. For me, you don't want me negotiating against you on the other side.
Right.
You know, so a good agent is going to, you know, be pretty aggressive.
So
in
people that do it right. I mean, and I've heard the number that there's a lot of realtors, real estate brokers, maybe better said, that don't do a lot of business. But the people that are in business do it all the time. This isn't a big deal. It's just maybe if they do a lot of residential, it modifies the process, and we got to cross our T's and dot our I's.
Exactly.
So nobody's surprised.
Nobody's surprised. That's the key to this whole thing. Is nobody's surprised. You know, Nikki does. She's had years where she's over 100 transactions. You know, so it's another layer of paperwork we've got to do and disclosures and all that. But if you're systematized, it's like butter, and you got a support staff behind you. It's easy.
So commercial real estate, I heard that racetrack was going in the auction block up there.
I know. I got to see the auction.
About?
I don't know. We got to see if it actually.
But isn't
goes.
it like a zillion acres? I mean, it's a big parcel.
It is. It's huge. It's huge.
I'm just disappointed it didn't become a racetrack, because every week I complain that the racetrack at the fair is gone and I want a racetrack. But that's a lot of land, right? In prime space.
A couple hundred acres.
Yeah,
I don't recall, but
I mean, they're putting a racetrack there. It's not big, not small.
Auction. We'll see how it does. What I know is we've definitely done some land transactions recently, which are quite significant up in the Micron zone.
Right.
We are not the guys with the $7 million listings, because in our opinion, those are the ones that, I agree with Ryan McMahon, those are the ones that are just wishing, you know, they plop we call it the 3 Ps. They plop a sign in the ground, pray, and I don't remember what the other P is, but they just hope and pray that
postpone, and it gets longer and longer and longer.
Yeah. So at any rate, you know, we've sold some land up there, you know, $1 million mark, but it's reasonable. It's reasonable for the seller and it's reasonable for the buyer. It makes a good transaction, right?
Are you seeing more people come to town, you know, relative to?
Definitely. Undoubtedly, we've got people coming to town. We've got groups right now. Everybody thinks it's New York City. It's not. It's you know, there's groups coming from Ohio that are doing this around Intel. Right, because Micron's like Intel.
Right.
There's groups coming from the West Coast that are doing it. I forget who's developing on the West Coast, like Micron or Micron competitor. And then we've got people coming from not New York City, but downstate that were involved with the AMD chip factory and their experience there, and they know the growth that we're going to have.
Is that all part of the conspiracy? But because it's really not going to happen?
Correct. It's not happening. It's
all these people moving,
it's in the water. It's just in the water.
There's enough road work to prove it, huh?
My goodness, the road work is amazing.
Welcome to Scranton. That's what it feels like,
right?
I don't know. Anybody other than me, anytime you go south, you hit, it's like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and then what?
Yeah.
Why? Are they done with this?
God forbid there's an accident, right? Because there was an accident the other day.
Alec was driving down. My son was driving down
the other day,
and it was busy.
Yeah.
Okay, and a plastic garbage can blew off of a truck. He said, I had nowhere to go.
Yep.
Bam. So he ran it
then
over,
you're stuck.
broke his signals.
Oh,
all that,
gosh,
you know? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Scary at 50 miles an hour, though.
So things are still rocking. So
Still rocking.
Commercial property, thinking of buying or selling, talk to Joe, 452-1200.
Yes, sir.
Residential, you can have a conversation.
Yeah.
With some of the team.
Nikki, Amber, Kelly Soccocio, Alec.
So if you don't know anybody, now you know somebody. Joe Scripa, because he's here all the time and won't leave us alone. ScripaGroup.com. ScripaGroup.com. Joe Scripa, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You have a great rest of the day, buddy.
You too.
Kenny Robarge is coming up next. He's the owner of CNY Golf Shop and Range, and we'll see just how little Steve knows about golf. Next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again, and we're glad to have you along on this summer edition of The Local Show as we work our way into fall, but hopefully we'll put the brakes on. We pump the brakes and not get into fall too fast.
Well, Tom, you know, there's only 3 kinds of people.
Yes, go ahead. Tell
ready?
me what they are.
Okay, there are golfers.
Oh, they're golfers.
Golfers. I'm a golfer.
Yes.
Okay. There are non-golfers. Tom, you're not a golfer.
No.
Okay. And then there are people who own golf clubs. Those are the three guys. I mean, everyone falls into one of those camps, Tom.
I believe that John Murphy is a good golfer, though. Better than you in a lot of respects.
He has improved a lot. I used to beat him by a lot. So in the league, you have an A player and a B player. I've always been the A player.
Right.
Oh, he's knocking on my door because his handicap's coming down and mine hasn't changed a whole lot.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, what about his business? Is his business growing at least?
Safe Harbor Wills and Trust is doing a lot of stuff. And every week, and we see it and we talk with them. People are updating their will, putting their house in a trust. So if they go into long-term care, they don't lose it. There's a lot of attorneys say, oh, this is what we do. This is all they do. They've been doing it a long time. So if you haven't done it, 370-9977. You can call over there. Yeah, it's the weekend, but they will get back to you. Or even better yet, go to Safe Harbor Wills and Trust, and you can ask some questions, and they'll get back to you and help you out.
Okay. Well, I don't know how you got involved with this Kenny Robarge, but he's the owner of CNY Golf Shop and Range. Kenny, how are you today?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. You met my friend here, Happy Gilmore?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you come from? Are you a homegrown guy?
Yeah, I'm from Central Square, New York. I played baseball, golf, basketball, football. Played them all.
Nice.
Never was on the golf team or anything. My father said, hey, you can play golf for the rest of your life. You're going to play football. You're going to play baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
After you're done with school, you can play some golf.
Right.
Yep.
Your father was right.
Yeah,
did you go to college after that, or did you just get right into work?
Just worked my whole life and just kind of built it up. And, I had the opportunity to work with Chuck Jonick and the legend around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I took lessons from him.
Wow,
which is why I don't golf to this day.
Yes. And the reason people say I hate golf, it's because they suck. That's why.
It's a tough sport.
If you improve, it can be fun. If you don't improve, you just quit and say this is impossible, because it doesn't seem like it should be hard.
No, it doesn't.
The ball is still. You play baseball. The ball doesn't move. How hard could this be?
People think it's so easy, but you got to play the play in the game. You got to practice a lot.
Right.
And
so you started golfing, and what got you into being the owner of CNY Golf Shop? Tell us
I've always wanted to be my own owner. Working with Chuck for the last 6 years has been an amazing time. Working with him, he's known so many people.
Yeah.
Let's say you went in there, last year, he will still remember your name.
Yeah.
It was fun to work with. Retail has always been my thing. And I love golf. So it kind of a little mix with everything.
So the legacy of Chuck, and people in the golf community, everybody knows Chuck.
Right.
Yes.
I would see Chuck, he's like, how's your mother? Gloria. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Because he was at Northern Pines as the teaching pro when I was in high school, and I graduated in 1980 at Cicero. And he didn't know my parents. I saw your parents over for dinner. He just remembered everybody. But you know what? And it was genuine. He wasn't like trying to show off. It was genuine.
Right.
Yeah, it was amazing every day. People could say, hey, is Chuck still around? I've been here in like 15, 20 years. I'm like, I'll give you 80% that he would remember your name and almost what kind of clubs you were using.
Wow.
Oh, he would know
what you bought.
So I had my Ping Eye ones that I bought in 1984, right? And he's like, Steve, you gotta change it up. And you'd go there to the driving range.
Yeah.
So just by the way, it's in Cicero, right by the exit, just north of Route 31 and 11 there. If you haven't been there, he's like, try this club. Boom. Okay. No, take it home. Like, what? So you're trying this club, and he really had a trust level, and it was amazing. So how are you going to carry on that legacy?
Oh, it's a really hard shoes to fill. We're just going to day by day keep on going what he did, do the same.
So you're in the same location.
Same location.
Okay.
Yep, doing the same exact kind of stuff.
Right. So you still have the
Sound clubs.
Sound clubs. Okay.
You got Callaway, you got Ping, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Tour Edge, Under Armour clothing.
You do custom clubs as well.
Custom clubs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So mine were custom because Tom, I'm.
Because you're ugly.
Yeah.
You got the ugly clubs.
I'm just a big fella. And so I was up there and I tried, and I hadn't changed clubs in 30 years, and I still just didn't do it.
Right.
So I was up there. He's like, Steve, try this Tour Edge. I've never even heard of Tour Edge. What's that?
Right.
Because I was playing Pangs and all the other ones. He goes, see the sweet spot. You got to trust me. I'm hitting. I'm like, these hit pretty nice. And he was right. And the clubs were like half the price of what I would have spent on some other clubs,
Right.
but he wasn't trying to push something that was more expensive. And I love that about the culture there. Are you able to carry that culture?
Yes. Everything he did, we try to keep, do the same as he did.
So with lessons, are there lessons there?
Yeah, I got a pro. He's Scott Russell. He's here to the end of September, and he comes back in June.
Okay,
Yep.
so smart.
So
You
the
go
driving
south.
range is still there.
Driving range,
Yeah.
yep. Every day we're open. Every day, 10 to 8.
How about the miniature golf that's kind of falling apart in front?
It's falling apart, yes. But we're going to be updating that very soon,
Good.
maybe in the spring coming up next year.
So that was there. So when you were young, Tom, did you ever take like
I was never
your
young,
first
Steve.
girlfriend to miniature golf in Cicero?
I was never young, and I never had
Okay,
girlfriends.
so that was the place for the date, right?
Yes, it was.
You go there when you're 12 and she's 13,
Right,
or vice
right.
versa, and it was there then, and it's very retro, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. They are going to fix it up because it's
we're going to try to fix it up in the spring, yep.
Yeah, it used to be the airport was right next door.
Oh, yeah, the Michael's Airport, yeah.
And you could put,
Yeah.
if you slice the drive, you put it on the runway, but that's not there. That's not.
It's now a Union Hall now.
Oh, well, okay. So why do people come there?
Just the legacy with Chuck. Chuck has built a huge clientele there. He, they come by and hit some balls. Use the golf equipment you try before you buy with all the golf equipment we got there, and it's just a good location that we have there.
Yeah.
Are you the only salesperson there?
I got a few helpers, the volunteers. I got my mother, and I got Mr. John Doutlow that also helps out.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Now, are you a golfer?
Yes, I am.
So tell us about your golf prowess.
I'm about I'll say 8 to 10 handicap. I haven't been playing at all. I've been working Chuck's hours now. So
Okay, just to be clear, Chuck worked every day, all day.
yes, all day, every day. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
It's amazing me every day, and it grinds me to become a better person.
When you play, where do you play?
I play mostly at Greenview, but I like to play all around. I love Green Lakes. Green Lakes is a beautiful course. I always try to push everyone to go there. Hard to get on there. You gotta get a tee time. It feels really fast.
The views up there are beautiful.
Do you do anything with the local high schools in terms of helping them out?
Local high schools, all the like CNS teams or local high schools, anyone that's on the team, they get a small free bucket every day.
Oh,
so
nice.
you come by.
Oh,
do that.
really?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what Chuck always had done over the years too. So I like to keep that going.
Seems like high schools have high school golf has been more popular lately.
Yeah, I feel like ever since COVID, golf has really been picked it up.
It has
a
it
lot.
really.
Yeah, people were watching it, and I think people were looking to something to do outside.
Yep.
And there was a bump in golf in a big way. You couldn't get on a course during COVID.
Yeah.
You couldn't get on the course. They were just loaded with people.
So, do you sell the automatic bags, the bags that you can walk behind and remote control them?
There's
And
got
then
to be
they
a
just
way
go
where
on?
I can get them, but they are very expensive.
Are they? Yeah. I
so-
saw a couple of them out at Drumlins, and I was really amazed. The guys were walking, and there's their bag right in front of them.
Yeah, I do it the old-fashioned way, Tom. I sit in this cart.
Yeah.
And but we play Drumlins, and we had Randy from Drumlins here. He was here last week. Great course. There's so
Yes.
many good courses I've been able to play, and it's great. So I'm glad there's a place that's still there. You're carrying on Chuck's legacy. So 699, a whole bunch of threes, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
If you need clubs, what a great place to try it. That you go on the range, you can swing
Yes.
them, you can try them. 699-3333. Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
Have a great rest of the day, buddy.
too.
Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk with Billy Brill. He's an account manager at the Red Cross. We'll see what's going on over there on the local show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Harvesting into the local show. You've got us, Tom and Steve, the two guys with not a lot to say, but we put on a lot of great people, right?
That's the key.
That's the key,
That's
is
the
getting
key.
good people on.
Because you had to listen to us the whole time.
You might
They'd be
turn the
like,
channel.
they'd be turning the dial like, oh, it's those two idiots. You don't turn the dial anymore, Tom. That's a really antiquated statement.
It really is.
Does anybody actually turn a dial?
You got to press the buttons and everything.
Remember
like
when it
that.
was like I had to get like, and if
Yeah.
it wasn't right on, static and stuff.
Yeah, it would be mono and then into stereo.
That's right.
All that kind of stuff.
Anybody under 100 doesn't know what we're talking about. That's okay.
No. Well, with all the construction that's going on around town, you know that something's coming. Something's big. Like you were saying, it's like Scranton. It's like, being in Pennsylvania or, getting into Maryland.
Yeah. I see my tax dollars being spent. I know. They put all those sound barriers along the highway,
right.
At 81 where you and I come down.
And they're putting sound barriers where I didn't think we needed sound barriers.
Well, there weren't sound barriers there for the last 50 years.
Right.
And there'll actually be less traffic.
And
so now they're getting the sound barriers.
It's weird. And there's no houses behind it.
There's houses there. Church Street, there's a ton of houses there. Know. Yay for the people that live there. That would bless them. But,
right.
But, who's paying for all this stuff?
A lot of all that stuff. We are, of course.
Well, you live in the pastures. You pay for it.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look, we've got a new guest to the show. Listen up, folks. It's Billy Brill. He's the account manager over at the Red Cross. How are you there, Billy?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Give us your background. Where'd you come from? Are you a homegrown guy?
I grew up in Old Forge, New York, actually, right close by.
Never heard that. So how many people in your graduating class? Like 9?
We had the largest, I think, in the history of the school with 36.
Good golly.
Yeah. And then I came to Syracuse right after high school, worked a lot with kids, foster care system, up until a few years ago, opened a little cafe with my wife for a year to get the restaurant bug out of my system.
Okay.
I had a blast doing that. And I've been with the Red Cross for a couple of years. I've been a donor for a little over 10. So.
Gotcha. Did you go to college for anything specific?
I went to OCC, started out in recreation leadership.
Gotcha.
And that took me over to the Boys and Girls Club, which led to some educational field jobs as a TA. And then got into foster care and just kind of.
Have you always had a bug for helping people?
Certainly, yep. Yeah. I think that's been the constant is this ability to have perspective and see perspective. So I'm really good in high stress situations and I'm pretty level headed.
So you're primarily involved in getting blood donations. Am I
correct.
Making a correct statement here?
Yep.
Okay. It seems like by now there'd be synthetic blood. Is there?
There is not, and it's one of the still one of the most surprising things that even people that donate blood may not understand that we are the only source. We're not a supplement. We are it, and so that's why the need for donors is so important. It can't be manufactured, not any single part of it out of the three main parts. So it relies on us.
With an overwhelmingly unhealthy population like Steve, is it more difficult to find people to give good quality blood?
There isn't really a scale of quality. There is the ability to donate or not. So it's pretty cut and dry. We have a health history. So we screen potential donors to make sure that the risk to the blood supply is as low as possible. You pass the screening and you donate blood, then you are good.
Is it true that there's no needles involved?
In some people's imaginations, it can be true, but to an actual donor, no, there is a needle involved. There actually is a smaller needle with the Power Red donation. That's a different type of donation that only takes red blood cells for the types that's most valuable. Yeah. And the needle is a little bit smaller, so sometimes it does give people a little.
But people that do that regularly, they're great at it. If
you're a seasoned phlebotomist, you know what you're doing, right?
I've done my time in medical situations and had been stuck plenty of times. Yes. You get somebody that does that all the time, you're like, wow, that was good.
Yeah, the Red Cross obviously also has a strong training program for new people coming on. But the hope is that it's a positive experience for every donor because it's not just valuable in that sitting, it's also a lifetime of potential donations we're working with. So we want to make sure they have a comfortable experience.
How much connection does the Syracuse Red Cross have with the National Red Cross?
99.9. We are, yeah. So everything comes down from national perspective as far as the numbers, the inventory.
Okay.
Another thing people don't realize, an event on the West Coast could have a ripple effect and impact our inventory here because regions close to them will be sending over theirs and trying to up their blood donation efforts, and then we are supplementing those that help them. And so that's one of a weather event, a large dramatic event, anywhere in the nation can impact us locally.
So giving blood, giving plasma, help me. Explain that.
Yeah. So there's a whole blood donation, which is the most common, and that will get divided up into the three major parts. So red blood cells, platelets, and plasma. You do often hear about just plasma donations. That is a unique part because there are pharmaceutical companies that use plasma to develop treatments and medications, and that's not what the Red Cross deals with. So you may hear people say that you can get a larger amount paid to you as a plasma donator. Those are from for-profit companies and they're used for for-profit reasons.
So why should people, maybe they've never given blood. It seems like I have a friend of mine, he gives blood every month or two, and he's like keeps track, and he's given X amount of times, and he's at the golden bleedy level. I don't know what it is. and he's into it because he has a heart to help people. If someone's never given blood, what's the process like? Where can they give, and what do they do?
Yeah. So the Red Cross in our area, we have 2 fixed sites, which those are 7 day a week, different hours, one in Liverpool and one in Utica. And so that's something that's always available. And then there's community blood drives. That's where we have to make up the biggest difference in getting units and collecting units. So businesses run them for their employees, community sites, libraries, churches, VFWs, things like that. So if you go to redcrossblood.org and put in your zip code, it's going to bring up all the local blood drives.
So I'm familiar with the location in Liverpool because it's up where I go by there all the time, kind of Bayberry-ish, but before that it sits back in the plaza. If a company wanted to do a blood drive and get their employees involved, how would they do that?
Yeah, so same thing. There's a tab on redcrossblood.org where if you're interested in hosting a blood drive, it's a quick form. But the minimum requirements, we try and make it as easy as possible. If you've got a 800 square foot room or larger space, and it has electrical outlets and it's temperature controlled, then we can help with the rest.
Sure.
So
should people be afraid to give blood? Just really quickly, does anybody get sick from giving blood? Or?
Yep, there can be some adverse reactions, which is very natural on a wide range. From very mild to more severe. We always have a comfort cot available, so if somebody's feeling lightheaded, our phlebotomists are quick to get them over into a lay down position and roll them off to a more private spot.
But just missing the blood, your body goes, hey, something's wrong here. And I know you shove cookies and juice and things at people to raise it back, to get the levels back up.
Yep. So somebody that is donating for the first time, you're going to want to eat a healthy breakfast, drink plenty of water. I think that's the biggest key. It helps widen those veins.
So redcrossblood.org, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is 551-1768 a good number for people to ask questions?
Yeah, that's my work number. You can text or call for any.
Great. So 551-1761 if you want to get involved. redcrossblood.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Billy Brill, right there, account manager at the Red Cross. Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have engaging conversations with Carol Terry. She's the sales manager at Mattress Makers. Paul Valco is the treasurer and past president of the Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society. John Tomino stops by, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen, and Amanda Delaney is the production manager at Delaney Farms. All in hour number 2 that starts really soon.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for riveting interviews with Carol Terry, sales manager at Mattress Makers. Paul Volko is the treasurer and past president of Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society. That's stars for you and I. And then John Tomino stops by, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. Amanda Delaney is the production manager at Delaney Farms, part of Onondaga Grown, and we'll have a nice conversation with her as well. Carol Terry is here right now. How are you, Carol?
I'm very good, and I'm glad to be back with 2 of my favorite gentlemen.
Oh, thank you so much. She says that to, just keep Steve happy.
Well, somebody's got to. I have
No,
one.
that's not why I say
have
it.
one fan.
There's a lot of fans.
Hey, folks, if you want to follow along, mattressmakerssyracuse.com. Mattressmakerssyracuse.com is the website. There's lots of pretty pictures and texts and things like that on that website. Carol, give us your background. How did you get into this world of selling mattresses?
Well, it wasn't a plan. What happened was I used to do motivational speaking in corporations.
No kidding. I didn't know that about you.
Oh, I loved it. Loved it. It was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And I would teach people how to do customer service.
Okay.
And so I was with a wonderful corporation, Deluxe. They make checks, which nobody writes anymore.
Oh, I remember
But anyway,
Deluxe, yeah.
they were downtown. And so when they decided to move, I had a choice to go to Minnesota or do something else.
Yeah.
And then I met Charlie Van Patten, which once you meet Charlie, you know you're done for.
Yeah.
And so I started to work with them about 20 years ago, and just kind of gone along with them.
Okay.
I'm known as the mattress lady. I'm always thinking about this on my tombstone. Here lies the mattress lady. She's finally thin.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, but anyway, so we've been together a long time, and it's a great. I love it in that we're local, and that we make them, and that we care, like you guys.
Yeah,
we care about what we do. So I absolutely love doing it for them.
Right.
So Mattress Makers, Bridge Street, across from Fleet Feet over
Yes.
there. I
Yep.
think you're hidden a little bit. Some people are like, I didn't know you were here.
Behind Henry Wilson Jewelry.
Behind Henry Wilson
All
Jewelry,
the time,
right,
yes.
right? And they're like, hey. And then they walk in and they see, wow, you make them here. Do people like that, or do they expect it to be made somewhere
It's
else?
wonderful, and I feel bad saying this, but when I'm in remission from cancer, thank you God, and I had been out, and I went back, and Charlie said, we're going to do a plant, we're going to do the showroom in the plant, and I went, oh Lord, we're in trouble. But I'll tell you, 95% of our people come in and go, oh my God, you make them, and we can give them a tour, and they see materials, and they see the best mattress makers in Central New York, I believe. And I have to say, it's wonderful, because then they see what they're getting, they see how it's made, they see the work that goes into it, and it's very encouraging, because I try to buy local if I can too.
Right.
So it's been a wonderful experience. And I went to Charlie and said, serve me crow. I was wrong. This is wonderful. So, yeah.
And they're buying from the factory, so they're saving some cash. Is that fair?
The prices are much better. Yeah.
Right, right. What about the quality? Somebody might say, well, that's made locally. I want one of the national brands because they're better.
Well, names always kind of are supposedly impress people, and I've been doing this a long time, and I know what goes into everyone. And we use the top materials. We kind of have to, because we're the manufacturer. So you go to a big box store, and you're unhappy with that mattress. You pop it out of a box, or you do whatever you do, and they go, well, you got to ship it to Ohio, and then somebody's got to repair it. That'll be $500, and it's $450 to ship it back. You might be better off just buying a more expensive mattress.
Right.
The buck stops with us. And we do repair them. And I've seen many people where we've done that, and they call me and go, oh, we've never been happier. We didn't think you were going to help us. So when the buck stops where you are, you better be doing it right.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you better be taking care of it.
Well, these bigger companies certainly put a lot of money into branding their product, right?
Of course.
So a branded product is often, in the consumer's mind, a better product, but not necessarily, because, it could be just a lot of hype that goes into the branding.
Yes.
So somebody says, a such and such beauty thing, and they throw in a couple of really key descriptive words, and you think, well, that has to be worth $5,000.
Yeah, but sometimes sometimes if you look and you're going to buy, rice checks or rice Klecks, and they're really rice checks, but it's a generic thing. To be honest, sometimes the rice checks are better than the rice Klecks.
Well,
right?
it could be. Yeah, it definitely could be.
But that's different, right?
Well, it's different because we take, we have one mattress. I just had the buying experience, okay?
Okay.
2 weeks ago. And I bought the mattress that Steve owns, and I love it. But I have to say, I had the delivery guys, and they were wonderful. I mean, they reset everything up for me. They were great, but I know what's in that mattress. And the thing is this, is that it's not about the money, it's about the quality. I have so many people say to me, we're going to buy from you because, not that I'm all that in a bag of chips, because you absolutely know exactly the specs on that mattress. You know what's in it. Wherever we go, the salesperson will go, it's got foam. Well, there's all different types of foam, and then there's liquidized rubber, and then there's visco memory foam. Right. You need to know what's in it and what they need health-wise and for themselves. And when you can do that and interview them, you usually can match them to the right product.
And I was talking to Charlie last week, and he said, well, we had one come back. I don't want it to sound like, we had one come back, Charlie. And, and it was like 15 years ago. You know, and they remember, and it was time. You know, okay, and it was time, and they remembered us because Charlie makes an impression. So do you, Carol. When we look at the reviews online, you know, people always talk about Charlie or talk about Carol, and it doesn't feel like it's a forced experience. You have people come in, they kick the tires, you talk about it. They usually buy a mattress. If they don't, you know, you're still letting them leave the building.
Of course. We don't say, you know, you have to buy today. And if you don't buy today, you can't get this price. I send people out because I know that I know that I've got a better price and a better product. And then they figure it out and come back and go, we're buying.
Is organic a big deal?
To me, yes, and we don't call it foam anymore because people hear foam and they think memory foam or they think high definition foam. It's liquidized rubber, comes from a rubber tree, and it has holes and it breathes. You never sweat on memory. And latex, I just had a couple in and had theirs for 27 years, and now they're replacing it. They're the best mattresses in the world. I would put ours up against anyone, and I study the competition. Yeah. They're wonderful, and I have to say it's very important to me. We have a new one that has, Charlie's going to kill me, but it has nano coils, which are little teeny coils top and bottom. You used to have to go to Europe to get them, and Charlie created it. And Charlie goes, what are we going to name it? I named it the Charles.
Oh, very nice.
I've sold 5 in 2 weeks. They've only been out there 2 weeks, and they're wonderful. So I wanted to pay a little bit of tribute to him, and he goes, well, okay, maybe we can call it the Charles. I said, all right. So we look at what we make, and we work with people. And the other thing I was going to say is the greatest joy for me, it's not the sale. I'm old, okay? But what it is the connections we make. We're a family like you are. I know I can walk in here and feel like I'm home. Right. And I know you check on me like I was home. Sure, in fact, I bought his mattress. But what I was going to say, well, not his literally, but the one that we make. And I have to say, I meet clients and people that are amazing, and we make connections, and we see each other, and you make that, it's just a family place. We're not like, even car salesmen, used ones aren't like they used to be because they know everybody hates it. You just become a family and you meet people. I've met wonderful, amazing people that have changed my life. So I wouldn't have changed that for anything.
So I know that you have a sale going on, Labor Day sale going on right now. Right. So great prices, but now you're even knocking more off of it.
We are. We are.
So just a reminder, go over to Mattress Makers. Don't go to the fair. All these people selling mattresses and they're here and they're gone. Go someplace that's local. And so Mattress Makers across from Fleet Feet, Bridge Street behind Henry Wilson Jewelers.
That's right.
Talk to Carol and or talk to Charlie, but we love the fact you're doing business locally, and thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much. I always love being with you guys. You're the best.
Great. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Paul Valco. He's the treasurer and past president of Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society, otherwise known as STARS, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again, and that means that you are here as well. We do appreciate you keeping us company on this weekend. Steve Roberts' radio show is in full bloom.
Oh my gosh.
Full bloom.
You do know how annoying you are. Yeah, I was going to say, I'll ask Kelly or Nick or Shannon, the guy, to know how.
Well, you say annoying. I'm just giving you the props you deserve.
Oh my gosh.
So tell me, Steve wants to connect with you even more, and the way he's going to do it is through a text line. So,
well, we have people. We get emails every week. I mean, we have folks that say, who was that on? They were on 3 weeks ago. What was their name? They do this or that. So we've set up a text line. So you can text us if you want to ask a question, if you want to find out who someone was, or maybe you lost their contact info or didn't have a chance to write it down, or maybe you have an idea. Hey, it would be great for you guys to, stop talking. I don't know, some kind of a comment. So we have a text line, 315. That's the big area code, Tom.
Okay.
So we'll call this the Zoey text line. I don't know. We just made that up. That sounds good. 216-0273. So if you have a writing implement and you care, 216-0273, the Zoey text line. Feel free to reach out to us. Maybe you have an idea. Maybe you want to hear more of somebody. Maybe you don't want to hear anybody else anymore. Whatever it is, no harm, no foul. Feel free to text out.
I think we're going to call it the Steve Roberts adulation line. If you just want to give Steve adulation.
or just, whatever.
Yeah, you could just tell him how great he is. And he'll like that. That's why he got the number. I know
that's not it. Because what do I hear every week? I know you're on the show, but who is the guy with that voice? That other guy has a really good voice. I hear that every week. And it's true, but it's annoying.
All right, so we got that out of the way. Now let's bring on Paul Valco. He's the treasurer and president of, past president of Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society. Some people call it STARS.
Yes.
So when they say they see stars, you appear. CNYstars.com. CNYstars.com. Give us your background, Paul. Before you get into what the society is about, where did you come from?
I'm born and raised Marcellus, Syracuse area.
Yeah,
and then went out to college in Rochester at RIT.
Very nice.
And moved back to the area in 2006 and been here since then.
What kind of an average did you have to get into RIT from high school? You have to have a 90 or above, probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
Come on.
So, Tom, I visited RIT.
Yeah,
that was the end of that.
Right. Well, because my son,
not you.
Yeah, my son's a photographer guy, and he wants to go to RIT
they have
for
a pretty
that.
good photography, and
but I don't think he can get in with his grades. So I wanted to know.
So I still think Nick should do 2 years or do it. Do it locally, and then because I love your son.
Thanks. So anyway, I just wanted to know about that. So you have an engineering background.
Yeah, computer engineering.
Okay, and you're still in that right now? That's what you do full time, or?
Yeah, computer engineering. It's kind of a mix of hardware and software. I veered more towards the software side as a career, but
right. A big company that we know of, or do you want to mention? Or
I work for the Stars cable network.
Okay.
Kind of like Showtime, Cinemax.
Yeah, okay.
It's one of their competitors.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they hide you, and you do the behind-the-scenes stuff. Is that what you're saying?
I work on the Roku app, the streaming apps,
and
stuff like that. I've worked on Xbox, Samsung, stuff like
no
that.
kidding.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
Is the engineering kind of a bridge to flying stuff around remotely? I mean, are those things connected, or are they totally different?
From just a kind of base level tech perspective, for sure.
Yeah.
The used to be those nitro engines and the transmitters and stuff were pretty rudimentary, and even before that there was control line, and it was just a set of steel lines and you're going around in a circle with it.
I remember those.
But it's gotten more technical as time has gone on, so there's definitely some crossover.
So tell folks what Stars is.
That's what I was going to go to next.
Okay, Stars with RC club out in
RC meaning radio controlled.
Yep. Flying club, so we fly planes, helicopters, drones, jets, and we also still have control line. There's a couple of guys that are still doing that. We have a control line circle set up out there for them. Yeah. And we got an air show coming up, and
tell us about
the air show.
Okay. So it's an annual air show. It's coming up Saturday, August 31st. The Saturday before Labor Day, 10 to 4:30, and it's a great time for families and stuff to come out, see us do what we do. There's pilots from all over the area. We actually have possibly some people coming up from Pennsylvania, Albany, Buffalo. We've had people come in from Canada before.
Right.
So what will people see? Okay, there's people flying around. Okay, Steve, Tom, this probably doesn't surprise you,
yes.
But when I watch remote control stuff online and YouTube, I'm always looking for them like crashing into each other and having these and it's wrong, and I know it's bad, but those are the ones that get the most views because people put a lot of time and money into building so many of these, and some of them are very sophisticated.
Yeah, we definitely try to avoid that whole crashing piece.
Yeah,
of it.
right.
Usually at this, you're going to see some of the larger models, people that do 3D flying and kind of stunt flying, that kind of thing. They come out with their kind of big planes, and that happens. There's a lot of warbirds, people that are into doing like World War II or more modern jets and stuff like that. They'll be out there. There'll be hopefully a turbine jet will be out there. They actually use a turbine engine in the jet.
I've seen, Tom, I've seen those. They have the sound, the pitch, the little glow out the end. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, they burn kerosene, so it has a smell. It's
yeah, and they go fast.
Yeah. Easily, 150 plus. Yeah.
Goodness. Do you guys have to tell the airport that you're flying, or
we're far enough away from the airport that we don't have to do that.
Okay.
We do. There's a system.
So you're able to pull it out.
System.
We don't have to report anything, but we do get a waiver for altitude and stuff.
Okay.
Like that.
I was just going to say, because with a drone, and I've got my commercial drone, my 107, part 107, blah blah blah, to fly the drone we do for business. I have a maximum of 400 feet. Are you able to go above that?
Yeah, we can get. There's a process we can go through to get a waiver. We can either go up to 700 or 1,200.
Okay, still low.
With the models, they get very small. So typically, 400 is usually high enough, but 700 really covers.
So if somebody wanted to bring a family, they can do this and watch kind of a fun event.
Yep. Like I said, we go from 10 to 4:30. We have a demonstration hour starting at noon. Bring out the family. We do ask for like a $5 donation per car that comes in, that kind of thing.
Tom wants to know if there's food there.
Yeah, we have food. We start serving that around 11:30 and serve until about 2. Food concessions on site.
Okay, where?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, well, we should say where.
We're up in Pennville. It's 649 Route 12. It's about 3 miles east of Phoenix, or 3.5 north of Great Northern Mall.
So it's on that road. Say that one more time.
649 Route 12 in Pennville.
Route 12 goes, okay.
Yeah, easy enough. I wanted to know how people got into the hobby. How can they get into it? What's the barrier of entry?
We do a weekly flight instruction at our club, and other clubs in the area also offer this, but we do it on Thursday evenings, usually starting around 5 o'clock, and you can just show up, give it a try. We have equipment there that you can use. If you want to train on an ongoing basis with our equipment, you can, but at some point we do encourage you to kind of buy your own stuff, but you can get into it basically and try it.
Is there someplace local where you can buy this stuff, or do you go on
there's
Amazon?
Walt's Hobby.
Okay, Walt's
over
is
in
still
Dwight
around.
Park Drive out there toward, what is it, WB?
Yeah.
I can't remember what the place is out there.
And real
now.
quick, you can buy them off the shelf, or you got to build them all?
You can do it either way. Most of the stuff these days is foam, and it comes largely ready to go. All you do is kind of like put the wings on, and
you're ready to rock.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's awesome. CNYstars.com. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. John Tomino's up next. He's the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. Stick around for that conversation on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again. Thank you for joining us on The Local Show with Tom and Steve. We like to bring you new businesses and civic organizations that you might not be familiar with, or if you are familiar with them, you don't know their complete story. Maybe their backstory, how much family is involved, how long they've been in the area, things like that, so you can connect with them and then feel comfortable to do business with them.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It used to be everybody. Didn't you feel like you used to know everybody?
I did. Yeah,
and
you
somebody
could
said,
walk
"I've
in
got a business," and you're like, "What is it?"
Oh.
"Oh, I know. Or you guys are over there now." there's so many like empty spots.
Right,
and,
right.
And we hear probably weekly from people like, hey, we like hearing for things we wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah.
And people want to do business with people they know and trust, or even if it's not for profits, they want to donate to people that they feel like they trust. Because every day on Facebook and everywhere else, somebody say, hey, give us money. Okay, well, yeah. So it's a fun thing.
So here's a guy who's dedicated his life to helping people, and that's John Tamino. How are you there, John?
Hey, gentlemen. Thank you for having me again.
John Tamino is the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. He's got a wonderful story, and he and his crew do a wonderful job here helping people. So why don't you start, how you got into this and, when it formed?
And thanks for bringing food. He doesn't bring food. He's a chef. He's a culinary thing. He doesn't bring anything.
You're not homeless. So.
Okay, that's right. All right, go ahead.
That's right. So basically, I had an experience with a gentleman on an off-ramp. This is in 2011, which kind of changed my life. Forever. I was going there, just going home, minding my own business, and I have this person standing there, and I see him, and I just felt like, for me as clergy, following my faith journey, felt that the Lord was kind of prompting me to kind of feed him.
Yeah.
So I go and get him a bunch of stuff. I come back, and he's still there, and the rubber meets the road, where I actually walk over to him and introduce myself to him, give him this meal, and tell him he's not invisible, and he unpacks his life story to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like you guys are asking me my story. That's what I did with him. And I hear all this craziness about trauma, sexual molestation as a young boy, now a drug addiction, now he's homeless.
Why was he willing to share that quickly, that boom? I mean,
because I think it was that words spoken to him in dignity, saying, hey man, I just want to let you know you're not invisible. And all of a sudden he just unloaded his life story, because he felt like, this guy sees me.
Right.
And that changed the trajectory of my life. I leave that encounter, go home, and Leanne and I leave our restaurant behind to my family.
So up to that point, you had a restaurant here locally.
Yeah, Asti Cafe on North
Which was very popular, if I recall.
Very successful, yep. And when I left there, I had a staff of 30, making money, very successful. And then I just feel like this leading to leave it behind, and I do that and started doing this out of my house, and here we are 13 years later.
Good golly, that's something. So all the people that are seen, what we would call panhandling, looking for money and stuff like that, and you reach out to them on a daily basis. Like, all of them around Syracuse?
Yeah, if they're in the city, me or my team, we know them. And it's folks holding cardboard signs, right? So they call it flying a flag. That's their flag.
See, I feel like nobody knows them sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, who is this person? And usually they have a little group. You can see them kind of working their little group. But it's so that's a big statement. You know all of them.
Yeah, unless there's someone new to the area that we're not familiar with. I mean, there's always a first contact where you're meeting someone for the first time. But if they're regulars out there, we know them.
Because I know that there's somebody up near Great Northern Mall too, and the off ramp there. I've seen a couple of people.
Up at
Do you
31.
go up? Yeah, up at 31. Do you go that far?
No, we stay within the city proper. Rescue Mission kind of canvasses the outside county area, but I know who that person is as well, because some of them migrate out there and come back.
I see them every night.
Yeah. So the other thing is that everyone's got a story. Like, you guys are unpacking a story for me to share to the audience that's listening. We are that person for our friends outside. They share their story with us.
You were telling me about Jeremy earlier. Tell me about Jeremy.
So Jeremy is a work in progress. So this gentleman, we've been working with him for 5 years. This is an awesome story. 5 years.
Okay, stop. 5 years.
Yeah.
You've been working for
that's patience.
A fella that's been struggling and been on the fringe of everything for 5 years.
5 years.
Okay, keep going.
So addiction is this thing that's causing him to keep spinning his wheels. And he's always been sharing with us the fact that he wants to go to rehab, he wants to go to detox, but never would make the commitment. So finally we get him connected to a housing provider. So he just got his keys to his place just the other day. I'm going to be posting a video on our social media page of in his beautiful apartment. And he also said to our team, he's ready to make a move to go to detox. That's a big deal, because he's been kind of saying it, but never following through. So tomorrow he's supposed to meet up with one of our team members to make the connection to go to detox and then go to rehab. Mm-hmm. If that happens, I mean, he's indoors now, so he's not outside, he's inside. If he starts to navigate this addiction issue with addiction and overcomes that, I mean, this could be a real wonderful story that could really unpack. But my saying that is this: the process. It's never a quick fix. It's usually a journey, right? Just think of your own life when you're dealing with maybe an eating habit or medical stuff. It's a process. You have to go through the whole journey of the thing. And it's the same way with our friends outside. We don't know when their transformational moment's going to happen. We just want to be standing there when they finally say, I'm ready. And that just happened. It took 5 years.
So how many people have you helped that you can like count? I don't know if you count that said, okay, at 5 years, I'm like, after 5 minutes, I'm like, come on, Buttercup, let's go. You're killing yourself. I'd be like, but.
Yes. So 371 people have come indoors since we started doing this that we've helped into housing, like Jeremy. So he'll be 372. But what is success? Success it might be coming indoors. It might be going to a rehab. It might be getting connected to a mental health provider. It might be reconnected to your family. So success looks different. It's not like a cookie cutter system. Yeah. It's person centered, right? And then for me, these little wins, like him getting indoors is a great win. And now the real win will start to happen because he's in a safe he could go to rehab now and have a landing spot.
Right.
Or if you're outside and you go to rehab, where do you go back to? Outside?
But people go to rehab all the time.
Yeah.
So, but that's a big deal because, someone that maybe has a job or has got a DWI, okay, the judge said I had to go to rehab or whatever. But this is 5 years. 5 years.
This could be transformational.
Well, here's the thing I learned in this realm. This is a new realm for me of over 13 years. I'm not a social worker.
Right.
Relapse is part of recovery. So when you're in recovery, there is bumps in the road, right? It's how quick can you get back up once you stumble, right? Yes. That's the thing. For me, being indoors for Jeremy now, if he does go tomorrow, and we were believing he makes it, when he gets out of there in 28 days, or if he goes to a 3-month program, he has a place to go to with a bed. Yeah. If you're outdoors, the chances of you making that commitment doesn't happen because what do you land back into? Under a bridge?
Right. And then what are you going to do? You're going to medicate it because your life's terrible.
Right. Exactly.
Tell us about how you help women who are homeless.
Yeah, so the women that are outdoors, we have a female care manager, Alicia, that was on the radio here with me before in the past. And we have a home for women coming out of trafficking, sex trafficking, because a lot of the women on the streets will cross over to trafficking, whether themselves or they're being trafficked. So Leanne, and my wife, runs a house called Life House that we have. And it helps women come off the streets who are connected to the trafficking court here in Syracuse, and we help them navigate their life back on track through a 9-month program, living in a house that we have.
And you also have medical services for outreach as well, right?
Yeah, Dr. Lehman from upstate, we collaborate with him with House Calls for the Homeless. He comes out with us and brings medical services.
So let me say something you might say. If you see folks, your heart is there, don't give them money. If you want to give them food or water, do that.
Correct.
Because you're not helping their addiction. And if folks want to get involved in volunteer, in giving money or whatever it is, in myfatherskitchen.org.
Correct.
And they can go there. And by the way, you make some amazing sauce.
Yes.
Which is called...
Taste and See pasta sauce. It's the sauce that saves.
And that's great. That is amazing. So you can buy that at Wegmans and some other places as well too. All right, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
John, wonderful person. Have a great rest of the day, okay, buddy?
Thank you, guys.
All right, Amanda didn't. Why do I keep thinking this is pronounced differently? It's Amanda Delaney. It's very simple, Tom. Amanda Delaney is the production manager at Delaney Farms. She's the 5th generation, and she is part of Onondaga Grown. Coming up next on The Local Show.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it, back at it. You found The Local Show with Tom and Steve right here on 570 WSYR. And Steve has, what's your text line there? You got the adulation line. Steve Roberts adulation line.
Yeah, sure. Now you asked me, here we go. So if you want to text us and tell us that we suck, or that
this is all about saying good things about Steve.
This is the phone number. You can text. It's a text number. 216-0273. That doesn't spell anything, by the way. It's not one of those vanity
I just want you to promote it because I want to see what people do.
This is fun. So, hey, you listen to the show, you like it, you hate it, you'd like to hear more guests, different guests, you want Tom to be quiet, whatever it is, 216-0273. 888-272-73. And we'd love to hear from you.
There you go. A feedback line for you. All right. Right now, we have a new guest to the show. Her name is Amanda Delaney. She's a production manager at Delaney Farms, fifth generation farm, DelaneyFarms.com, DelaneyFarms.com, and part of Onondaga Grown. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. Well, it's good to have you along. So, Amanda, are you homegrown? Did you get born and raised here in Syracuse?
I was born and raised in Central New York. I actually married into the farm life. So
Gotcha, yeah.
I'm a newly minted Delaney as of the fall of
Which
last
side
year.
of the world did you grow up on?
I grew up in the Utica area. So I'm from Frankfort, New York. So
Yeah, very
farms
familiar with
and
Frankfort,
being out in the country is,
So you're
is very
Italian?
normal to me. I am.
Yeah, okay.
I don't appear so, but I am Italian.
It goes with the zip code.
You know it.
Yeah, there's a big farm out in Frankfort. I'm a wedding DJ as well, and I played out there. I can't remember the name of it, though.
There isn't. I haven't lived there in years now, but I know. Yeah, I know. There's one
There's
out.
one out there.
by-
There's one in Deansboro.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful farm wedding venues out there now.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah. So you've only been married a year to the
a
Delaney
year in
family.
October, but I've been around for about 5 now. So I got right into it. Yeah.
So what do you do full time?
So I work full time actually at Lemoyne College. I run a STEM workforce development program called Erie 21. So I actually just came from there.
So are you a scientist by?
I would say I'm an educator. Yeah, I'm an educator, and I know we really focus on tech and workworce development pathways.
Two Lemoyne grads working here on staff.
Oh, great. Yeah, we got a lot of communications.
We couldn't find anybody else, so we have Lemoyne grads.
They're the best kept secret. So
yeah, that's
absolutely.
wonderful. So
Yeah.
where did you go to college?
I went to Lemoyne as well.
Oh, you went to Lemoyne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Very
I did.
nice.
Yeah.
So the Delaney family's been farming for how many generations? 5? Or?
So we actually, Generation 6 was just born last week. I have a new nephew in the family,
nice. Okay.
but 5 generations. So the farm started in 1916. So we've been around for a while, and it's been a family operation the whole time.
What do they farm?
Yeah.
We farm a heck of a lot of things. Our primary crop is sweet corn. We have about 100 acres of land up right outside of Marcellus, and we have about 50 acres of sweet corn, and then the rest is made up of greens. So we have kale, lettuce, peppers,
Produce, all sorts of
onions,
produce.
all sorts of things. Fresh flowers. My sister-in-law and I took over the fresh flower business last year, so we're kind of getting our hands dirty there. And so there's a lot of good stuff going on.
So let's talk corn. I'm a fan.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
What I was told is when you drive along, you see all that corn.
Yeah.
Most of that the cows eat. Am I right?
There's a different type of corn, which I learned in my newness to farming too.
Teach me corn.
Yeah, I'll do my best. But so there's cow corn, which is a totally separate kind of corn that a lot of farms. So you will see a lot of that, and some of that's made for other products as well. So the cows eat that, but then that's also made for kind of larger manufacturers, and they turn that into other products. And then sweet corn is what we grow. Yeah. So really, for us, it's 50 acres of sweet corn, all of which you can eat.
You're edible, yeah.
And just to be clear, you don't want to eat the cow corn.
To be clear, Steve, a bag of Fritos is not corn. Okay, so
it counts. It was corn at some point.
I am sorry. There's nothing I love more than corn this time of year.
It's the best.
You can get it in the winter. They'll have it. Forget about it.
Yeah, it's the best.
This time of year, it's sweet, and I'm getting to the point where when I was a kid, it was a reason to eat butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It was like clams. What do you wife call it? They reason to eat butter. A little bit of salt, and I'm good.
You don't need a whole lot to make it delicious, which is really awesome.
But there's different kinds of sweet corn, right?
Yeah.
So what do you guys do?
So we grow 3 different varieties. We grow butter and sugar, which is kind of a mix of yellow and white corn.
It's like the Colonels couldn't decide what color they were going to be.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds, right? We grow what we call Silver Queen, which is actually kind of rare around here. A lot of farms don't grow it.
It's white.
It's white, and the kernel's a little smaller. It's a little bit sweeter. It's a fan favorite.
Very nice.
Have you had it, Tom?
No.
I should have brought you some, but I came from work. I'll have to drop some off. I'll drop some off for you. Yeah. And then the other one we grow is kind of like your classic yellow corn, which is also, they're all sweet. They're all delicious. People have very strong feelings about which ones are their favorite.
Where do people buy that corn? Do they have to go to your farm? Is it at stores? Where's that?
Yeah, so we sell it right out of our farm stand. So we're at 4545 Casson Road. We're open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily throughout August and well into September until corn's done. And then we also go to the regional market on Saturdays. So we'll be there tomorrow morning. We'll get up and we'll get down there by 6 a.m. and get set up. And we bring a limited amount down to the market. So if you're coming to the market after like 9 o'clock. We can't promise it'll still be there.
But all of your produce, do you ship it out of New York State, or is it mostly to stores around here?
Yeah, we pride ourselves in feeding the local community. So we really don't work with too many stores right now. We do have some restaurant partnerships that surface, but we really do a lot of work just direct to customer. Gotcha. And we also work with some nonprofits in the area. So we've partnered with the Salvation Army and Peace Inc. and things like that to make sure we can bring fresh food to food insecure neighborhoods. Yeah. And it helps us because we can get rid of the product, but it helps them because they're feeding the people they serve. So we really are proud of that, and we really like the direct to customer relationship.
So how about your flowers? Tell me about your flowers a little bit. You're selling like could I get a basket of mums or what from what
so we don't do mums or anything like that, but we do we do fresh cut really. So zinnias, we have status, which can be sold as fresh or dried. We have a couple new additions this year called yarrow, celosia, different things like that. So we make really big, beautiful, colorful bouquets. We do sunflowers.
So they're not for planting. These aren't things.
So we do those too. Yeah. So that's a whole other part of the business. Wow. So we do that in May. So basically our whole business is kind of we get rolling is what a year looks like. In February or so, we start planting things. We have several greenhouses at one part of the farm, and we grow plants and starter plants, gardening, vegetables, that kind of thing. Yeah. We'll have, million bells, hanging baskets, all of that. And then, so we sell those up at the farm and at the market from May through about mid-June.
So Casson Road where? Like a number that we're
right on the corner of Seneca Turnpike and Casson Road.
Now I
right on the corner.
Right on the corner.
So if I keep going straight, I hit the golf course. What's that golf course called again?
The one towards Marcellus.
Yeah, towards Marcellus.
That one out there. Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, that one. I'm not a golfer, so I'm not sure.
So learned a while ago. For me to cook an ear of corn, 3 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah.
Don't husk it.
No.
Don't husk. Leave it in the husk. Peel it off. Little cold water. Oh my gosh. It's so good.
It's not complicated, which is really great.
Is there such a thing as Indian corn, or do I have to call it indigenous corn now? Can I still call it Indian?
We call it harvest corn, but we do have it. We do sell that too.
That's I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's more ornamental. I don't know what the proper terminology is, but that's what the magazine calls it that we order it from.
How many people do you have working at the farm?
So it's really family driven. It's we have my mother and father-in-law who are really kind of the heart and soul of the operation right now, and our grandpa Pete, who has been around for years and years and kind of started to teach us everything we know. My husband and his brother are taking over the farm kind of as we speak, and next year we'll be running that. And then my sister-in-law and I are kind of the main
Well, you better start having some babies.
Yeah. Well, we got one. So.
DelaneyFarms.com.
Yeah, DelaneyFarms.com.
And don't forget on Farm Fest coming up September 21st. I know you're not opening your farm, but lots of them are.
Lots of our neighbors are. Come support the farms.
Onondaga grown. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. That's going to wrap things up for us, Steve. On behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising, and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Take some time to relax and exercise this weekend, and every day. Do it with a friend or family member. It'll keep your body and mind healthy. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.